Hello friends, my name is Alexander Karekis, and I want to welcome you to the Finding Lost Civilizations series. Now the purpose of this series is to visit ancient sites that time has long forgotten, and it's not related to the disappearance or extinction of any ethnic group. As a matter of fact, in most of the sites that we visit in our series, the ethnic group or the ancestors still live today. Also, not everything I say is necessarily accurate, because the purpose of this series is for you to seek further knowledge. Anyways, I know it's going to be a fun journey because we're going to visit a place called Sheep Springs, which is located in the El Paso Mountain Wilderness area in California. And so I invite you to come trek with me. I know today is going to be a fun day. Well, the fascinating thing about Sheep Springs directly ahead of us is this slope over here that goes to a plateau. Well, this slope is covered with boulders that contain symbols that the ancients left behind for us. Look at this right over here. This is really interesting. I see it looks like almost it's a cross with two legs, maybe a stick figure. Let's take a look real close. There you go. Again, very, very deeply incised. So you see the eggs, and then of course the two legs. And then look at this right over here. And again, look at this here. It looks like those Hawaiian stick figures right here, like there. There you go, there's the arms. Let's go around the boulder and see if there's any other symbols. Oh my goodness, this whole boulder is covered with symbols. Look at these right over here. And then of course, those right there in front of us over here. Let me go around over here. So we're taking a really close look at these over here. These are normally, or I shouldn't say normally, but usually called archaic in style. In other words, there's a lot of loops, whirls, wavy lines that don't seem to have any meaning to them, often referred to as abstract in nature. But this is a beautiful boulder with many different symbols on it. Well, again, that's Sheep Springs right there, and this is the top mesa. The slope is down that way, a lot of petroglyphs along the slope. But I took a view right over here. Look at this, right over here. And I looked out to the horizon and I saw a big circle of rocks. So let's go up there and take a look. My goodness, that's fairly large. You know, there's several, I guess, reasons or factors that you have to consider when you're looking at something like this. It might be a house circle. It might be what they consider a medicine wheel or a dance circle, or the foundation for a wickiup, which would be a home. Look at those right there. It's fairly large. Now this is, yes, this is fairly large. So this is probably not what they would call wickiup, which would be a house type foundation. But look at right over here, you can see there's the semblance of a small circle. Now these small ones, which are about 3 to 4 feet across, can sometimes be identified as spots where the natives stored their piñon nuts. It was a food source, so they saved the piñon nuts for later days. But usually those circles, or probably less than 5 feet. This here is a fairly large one. And look at that, right in the center, there's a metate, a grinding slick right over here. Let's go here and take a look. So there you go. Look at this right here. You can see food was prepared here. It's very worn out and very, very smooth. Again, this is the circle right over here. It's hard to say. I mean, has this been here hundreds of years? Did modern man put this here? There's no real answer. I guess we would know if there's historical data going back 100 or 200 years that mentions this circle right here. But I'll tell you, it's really fun to believe that this is an ancient medicine wheel type intaglio motif that you can see from the air. This is really, really fascinating. Well, friends, this is a really interesting boulder. Look at this right here. Sometimes, you know, people might call this the rake. In other words, there's a straight line here, and then all these fingers, okay, these lines coming down here. You know, its true meaning has been lost in time. This is really, really beautiful. Let's take a look at all the symbols here. And look at this right over here. There's the beginning of another one. And it comes down here and just creates these looping symbols. And then we'll go around the boulder. And right over here, there's a symbol. And of course, right there, the circle. As we're trekking amongst the boulders here at Sheep Springs, I want to show you this really fantastic boulder with these really neat petroglyphs. Right over here, this symbol, many people ascribe this to the Bighorn sheep. In other words, this is a back view. There's the neck, okay, and here are the horns. Or conversely, you could say that this is the front of the head, the elongated face, with the horns right over here. But look at this petroglyph over here. This is really fantastic. Now, who's to say what the meaning of this petroglyph is? Everything I say here is a guess or based on what other people have ascribed to this type of image. But let me show you something over here. Some refer to this as a shamanic symbol. So here's the shaman. Obviously, he's under a psychotropic trance. This is him. He's transforming himself into something else. You can see an animal over here. Go around the boulder over here. There's some other symbols that are pretty unique. Okay, here's one that's older than one we just saw. You can see the difference. See how light that is, how dark this is. And here's another one. Seems like a circle with a line, a circle, and then a line going down to probably another circle here. This is really interesting. It looks like a series of circles with an opening here. And I'll tell you, this boulder is truly fantastic. This whole area is covered with boulders. I'm going to turn around and show you another one right over here, which is really fantastic. Look at this over here. My goodness, that's really beautiful. So there's a bunch of other boulders over here. Right over here, let me show you this one. Again, this here is what we would consider the archaic style. People sometimes refer to this as a net, and you can see these crisscrossing lines, circular and right angle ones. And right here in front of it is another symbol right over here that continues downward. I'll tell you, these are really unique, you know. As I said, the meaning has truly been lost in time, and anything I say is simply speculation. As we continue to walk, I just noticed another boulder right over here. Look at this. Again, the same type of style or motif, lines, loops, whirls. So we'll continue to search this area. There's literally hundreds of boulders over here, so you can imagine there's a lot of symbols laying around here for us to discover. Well, here's the plateau area right here that I was talking about, and right down there is Sheep Springs. Oh, I think I see another boulder with symbols right there. Let's see if we can walk to it and take a look. Okay, what I'll do is I'll come from the backside to see if there's any symbols. Yes, I do see a series of symbols, but I'll tell you, they're hard to discern. Can you see that right there? You can see my shadow. The sun is directly behind me. But there you go. Let's take a look. I'm going to pull this back here. As I said, the symbols are starting to fade. And when I say fade, I mean that the elements are returning the boulder, the patina, the outside patina, to its natural color, which would be right over here. So to take an etching or a pecking on a stone, it creates a really vivid background, but as you can see, these are starting to fade, so they're very old. Okay, look at this right over here. Again, a series of symbols, loops, whirls. Okay, look at this over here, look at this here. Kind of a circular, they call it, I'm trying to remember what this is called. Well, anyways, it's a curvilinear. In other words, there's a line, okay, linear, curva, and it curves, see? It's a curvilinear. So, look at this. Looks like a possible motif of a person. Look at the head right here, the arms, and the two legs. Well, friends, interesting petroglyph right over here. Look at this. It's figurative. Okay, we have an animal right over here. There's the head, there's the tail, the four legs. Another animal here, four legs, a tail, and a head. But look at this. It's a human figure. And it looks like the arm is outstretched. Okay, right over here. Okay, it's a little curved. What could that be? Well, my guess is it's a hunting scene. It's a hunting scene of a native using a bow and arrow to go hunting. You know, sometimes these figurative images really leave themselves open to an interpretation that is oftentimes a very good guess. Well, friends, I found something really interesting. You know, this is kind of a high desert area. It's very dry right now, but look at this over here. It's like an oasis. So I couldn't help myself. I had to come here to see what was going on. You know, the ground is very soft and it's slush, but look at this over here. Now, this is a slant well. Okay, normally wells go straight down, but this is a slant well. Let me step in there and show you. Okay, so this is probably historic. In other words, probably old ranchers, the pioneers that came into this area. At that time, the water more than likely flowed a lot more than it does today. But what this rancher did is he created this slant well into the side of this hill over here. Now there's definitely water in this area. The ground is very soft. Look at this beautiful tree. Look at the ground over here, how green it is. So this is an oasis right here. Let me walk out and show you right over here. Look at this, we're walking out, and this is what it looks like out here. You know, I'll tell you, in the summertime, in this area, it'll get up to 125 degrees. I'll tell you, it's really fascinating to find these things. There's the old creek bed directly in front of us. And of course, all the symbols are right there on that hill. Well, as I'm walking amongst the boulders, I see another really interesting image. Look at this right here in front of us. My goodness, look at that. It's beautiful. Okay. Could this be a rendition, a figurative petroglyph of some type of animal? Possibly a desert animal, maybe a lizard. Look at this over here. Okay. So it has 3 claws, 3 right here, 3 here. There's the body, there's the tail right here, and of course this is the head right over here. Very nice. Well, here's another archaic petroglyph. Look at that. I tell you, the interesting thing about this site, there's no grand panel. You see these boulders over here? They're not very large, but there's many, many symbols here. And you can't just look at a boulder straight on. You've got to look at it 360. When you come up on it, you have to get to the back, to the side, because there's symbols everywhere. And if you don't look, you'll miss them. Well, friends, I hope you've enjoyed segment 1 of our trek here into Sheep Springs. You know, filming in the direct sunlight can sometimes be difficult because the sun tends to wash out these ancient symbols on these boulders, and especially if they're very, very old. And so what we're going to do in segment 2 is go out in the evening with a spot lamp to see if we can bring to life some of these images that we couldn't see in the daytime. I think this will be an exciting experiment, and I invite you to keep trekking with me. Well, friends, nightfall has arrived here at Sheep Springs, and so we're going to do something different. We're going out here with these camera spotlights to take a look at the petroglyphs that we saw earlier today. Well, here's one beautiful boulder. Let's go around it over here. I tell you, you know, at nighttime with these spot lamps, sometimes you can see images actually more clearly than you can during the daylight. So anyways, I'm walking around this boulder. There's symbols 360 all the way around. I'll tell you, look at that. Isn't that beautiful? I'll tell you, you know, this night photography here really brings out the images that these petroglyphs present. Well, I have to be very careful. It's dark here, and I tell you what, one slip and I could really hurt myself. Well, here's another boulder. Yeah, you can see the symbols right here. There you go. There's one right there. You know, sometimes here, without the sunlight, you can really get a really good image of the boulder at night with these spot lamps, I'm starting to notice. So, look at this over here. You can barely see a symbol right there that I couldn't see in the daytime. Okay, so I'm going to point the camera down to these boulders here. Look, here's another image that I didn't see in the daytime. And you could see it's a double circle. I tell you, this is really fascinating. I'm actually quite surprised at how much I can see at night compared to day. Here's another one. Look how vivid they are. This is really beautiful, I tell you. I'm glad I came out here. Oh my goodness, look at this one here. Hopefully this will come out really nice. Oh, that's absolutely beautiful. Look at this right here. I love this boulder. Look at that line coming completely around, encircling the boulder. Well, you can see the boulder broke right over here, but there's some more symbols right here. Okay, there's that cross or man figure. Look, there's one right next to it, right over here. I didn't even notice, right here. Those looks like the stick figures that you see in Hawaii quite a bit. And look at this right over here. So I'm going to continue walking amongst these boulders, hoping I don't trip and fall.
Hey Alex, you okay?
Well, we have a series of connecting circles over here. I'll tell you, I'm still quite amazed at how vivid these petroglyphs are at nighttime. Look at this over here. My goodness. Well, we're coming up to another fabulous boulder right here. So let's take a look right over here. Wow, look at that. There's a bighorn sheep right there directly in front of us. So I'm going to step to the side right here and look at this over here. There's two more bighorn sheep right over here in front of us. And let's go around the boulder. Look at this at the top. There's some symbols there. So I'm going to walk real slow. There's a lot of loose rocks over here. Look at this right here. Okay, there's another bighorn sheep and another one right there. And as I keep walking to the left, there's another symbol right here. And again, up on top of the boulder. So let's take a look real close. All right, I gotta be careful. There's a lot of loose rock, sand here, bugs. Look at this. I tell you, during the daytime, I can't see half of this compared to what I'm looking at right now. Well, I'll tell you, I couldn't be any happier using this night light over here to find these symbols. So there you go. We've gone 360 degrees around this boulder. Well, here's another boulder. Okay, look at this over here. There's a symbol right over here. Oh, that's interesting. It's right at the apex of the boulder. It all comes up there into a triangle. Almost looks like a medicine wheel. There's a circle with spokes there. Can you see it? Really great. Well, we're going to push forward. Well, I can see we're coming up to another boulder right here. Look at that right there, directly to our front. There you go. I'll tell you, very, very faded, very old, but beautiful nonetheless. This is really beautiful. Look at that double circle in there. I'll tell you, this night photography really brings these petroglyphs out. Well, there's a symbol right there. If you can see the circle, the boulder split right over here. Look at this, it's split in two. And There's a petroglyph on this side of the split. And there's a series over here. This is really beautiful. Look at this. There's a series of concentric circles right here in the middle, and they go out to the right and to the left. You see that? There's a straight line and another circle right there, and then they come up right here. Look at this. There's 3 lines that come up, and they have little circles on top of these lines. This is really a beautiful petroglyph. There's another one right over here. And directly to our front is the yoni symbol, right over here. But strangely, this one is more discernible in the daytime than at nighttime. But right there you can see the peck marks that created this oval shape right here. You can see it's an oval shape. And right here, down the center, there's a line. Okay, it's abraded straight on down. And this is supposed to be a fertility symbol. Very interesting.